So I'm here at the park. It's probably hard to hear me. See if I can put the earphones on. But it's been one of them days. Kind of felt like I needed to. It's been one of them days. I kind of felt like I needed to just get some relaxation in. Uh, it's a nice day. Just doing a little bit of yoga at the park. Um, I brought my journal to write, but just not really sure what I want to write. Plus the wind is a little windy. Now my journal might not be cool. But I didn't really get to work out last night, and I noticed like when I don't work out, my body is just not my own. It's kind of like I lose control because when I wake up, it's hurting so bad. It's just the pain feels out of my control rather than it's really windy. Rather than when I work out, it's more like I kind of control the amount of pain that I'm dealing with because it's a predictable pain. I know that the soreness, it'll go away, but when it's the fibromyalgia pain, it's really unpredictable. I just don't know when it's going to come, which part of my body, or if it'll be my entire body that'll hurt. But there's a sense of loss there when I go through those times, and it doesn't remove me from who I am and all that God has done in my life, but it does cause a sense of sadness. Um, yeah, it causes a sense of sadness, and it changes my emotions and my mood because I'm very limited as to what I can give people, and to me, that is sad. And so, like today, I have physical therapy, and the young lady, her whole energy, her attitude was just on funk mode, and they seem more busy with talking about their own lives to their coworkers than the care of the patients, and it's a lot of people in pain in there, and it breaks my heart. It's never really just about me, but about someone else who probably wouldn't speak up like I would. And so I just had to walk out of there because she was just yanking those electrical pads off of me. And I'm just like, I get so close to wanting to snatch somebody out their body that I had to come to the park and just reconnect and just see the beautifulness of God and be in a place where I'm really just by myself, kind of get my footing. And I'm learning that the only way to do that is just personal time with God. Like there's no other way. And before I thought it was then a mate, like I needed to have a man with me or have a man that I could take care of, and that would be my out. But I noticed that even sometimes can take me away from God because then I'm consumed with what he needs and not what I need or what my father needs from me to be able to keep me going. So I don't know. I think I might have let myself get caught up in the chemistry of meeting Andre yesterday. It was completely unexpected that he would be who he is, and knowing that Damien wasn't any good for me, I probably waste more thought on him just because he was all that I knew, and there's always that fear of something new. But in a dare, my nail tech dared me to try online dating. My first experience was absolutely, I wouldn't say horrible because he was a really nice guy, but it just felt more like a catfish than anything because men have a way of conversating or saying things that kind of inflate the truth a little bit. And this first guy that I met online, I mean, we had great conversation, and I mean, in talk, communication, he seemed like he had it all together. He talked about this crazy workout that he does and his work ethic, and then he has two sons and how much he cares for them. But just as time unfolded, the truth began to show that I remember we had this one conversation about him talking about how he was taking on a second job when in reality he wasn't really secure on the first job. But he would talk about how he can work the second job because he could sleep at his first job. And I'm just like, really? Is that the mentality that you want to have, that's an option? Like, so we kind of got into it about, like, really? He was like, well, I know what I could do, I've been able to get away with it and do it, whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, like, what if it was your company? Would you still be okay with your employees sleeping on the job just because they could get away with it? Like, really? And then when I finally met him, he was probably like 400 or 500 pounds. And I'm like, dude, like, those pictures from the neck up are just not cool. I mean, and it's like all these little rules and games that, like Andre was telling me, it could be like a robot talking to you, or it's just all kind of gimmicks that's online that you don't know. It really just felt like a waste of time, and I was so close to deleting the app. I mean, I had like 100 or some guys like me or reach out to me, and it was just like every one was like a swipe left, like that'll be a no, and that'll be a no. Oh, hell no, 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 you know. And even when I saw Andre's picture, I swiped right, but I was still like, he wasn't smiling. And, I'm like, do he have all his teeth? Because that's a really big thing to me. And if they dentures, like, are they like, when he talk, do he whistle through them? And when I met him, we was like, fuck it, like all this conversating, let's just meet each other and see if this some bullshit or not. And we spent about 4 hours just hanging out before he went to work at Chili's. And I kept saying that I'm definitely not going to date anybody with younger kids, or especially with a daughter, because they just be so possessive over their dads. But then, I don't know, it was just something about him. I hope I'm not compromising my standards in that perspective, but we had a chemistry, and usually I can create chemistry with people. I can make people feel comfortable or invited into my space, or not. But he made me feel the same. So that was something that I've been looking for, that I can feel comfortable in somebody else's space and not just me making them feel invited into mine. And we kind of just clicked. So I don't know where it's going to go. He is an officer, a security officer as well. And I mean, he seems to has a good head on his shoulders, but a lot is left to be seen. But it's at the point to where I'm willing to try and see what it's about. I'm not really too sure about his personal relationship with Christ. We did talk about it a bit, and he grew up in the church and things like that. I'm not really a religious person. You're not going to really hear me claiming no certain type of church or religion. I completely believe it's my personal walk with him, and it's not nothing that's up to anybody else's judgment. But I know what I deal with, and it will take a prayerful man, or a man that's at least willing to be in connection with God and lead, in order to be my mate. So it's all left to be seen, but it's very interesting. We had such a great time yesterday evening that, I kind of woke up thinking about him. And I don't want nothing to get in the way with my time with God, my first time with him, because I know I can't make it without him. I know I can't make it without that intimate time that we share every day. But God knows that I long to have a relationship with somebody, a man that I could trust, a man that only wants me. I'm not necessarily let's just get married, but I do want to be in a relationship. I know everybody don't agree with that, but I am where I am, and that's where I am. I cannot say that I would be celibate for the rest of my life. That, and I can't say that I'll be celibate until marriage. That didn't work for me either. So I don't know. I think that it's just left to be seen. I look forward to spending more time with him and getting to know him because it was a very peaceful place to be with him. He makes me laugh, and I don't know. He was just a cutie pie. So we'll see what happens. But I just needed to come out here and just reconnect with my father. This beautiful earth. I mean, Texas is not all of that to me, but just to be able to find this place where the clouds are moving and the wind is blowing is it was definitely somewhere where I could just step away from everything that's facing me this week. I had the second injection. I was a little hurt that my mom is okay with me being on transportation, when it comes to something like that. And then she's having more visitors at the house, which means I have to take my bed down. So my living space is going to be kind of compromised. But I just want to be thankful anyway that I have a place to lay my head and the time that I've shared with my mom. I just want to be thankful. I'm thankful